So while I had the system opened, I noticed there was a speed up board in the system as well. I've identified the board, and I've written a little demo program here. In the upper right hand corner you'll see it says slow, and it's toggling the A's to the lowercase z's. And it'll switch to fast, and you can see it toggles twice as quick. So it looks like it's doubling clock speed from 1.7 to 3.4 megahertz. So the little board does work. It seems to only be two speeds, normal speed or high speed. They did actually mod it far enough. If you watch the LED on the keyboard, you'll see it switch to green. When it's in high speed, there it's in high speed. And then it'll switch back to red when it's in low speed. So there was the indication there. So it was kind of a pleasant surprise to also find the little overclocking board in this system. It's a different board. If you followed my other videos, and I installed on a different machine. So I haven't tested the board extensively beyond this quick little program here just to play with it. The program's kind of a mess, but it works. So I'm going to try something here. Save. I've got the system in high speed. The LED's green. Speed floor / basic to drive 1. And the board should kick the system back to normal clock speed while it does the save, which it appeared to do. The save seemed to be successful. I believe I can do a... Yeah, and there's drive 1. So, an interesting little machine. It's got a speed up board in it that doubles clock speed. It's got that board that we looked at earlier that does the inverse video. So anyhow, I thought I'd demo that for you. And I hope you enjoyed. So here we have a view of the actual board itself that's installed in the system. You know, it's an okay install. Somebody, I can't. It's hard to call it okay. It looks. I didn't check close, but it looks to me like this capacitor has been broken loose and is just hanging there in the air. I didn't fix that while I had it open. Didn't really notice it till this photo. So one of the despiking caps is loose. The jumpers are put in piss poor, but it is what it is. Look at some of the other photos. You can see where the blue ribbon cable comes off and is attached to multiple points on the board. This way of using the blue ribbon cable is quite interesting. Of course, here we have the cassette modification in the system. I believe this yellow wire could be routed out to a switch to manually switch lower high speed. Kind of another view of the ribbon cables. They come up underneath the level 2 card. Well, I guess that's all the photos I got. So as you can see, you know, it is what it is. So I thought we'd take a quick look through the manual that was used to install that speed up card. Please ignore this Holmes Engineering Sprinter 1L. Somebody wrote that on the original image. It was PDF, the file, and that's incorrect. It's a completely different manual for that card. In a previous video, I actually installed this card, and we went through the installation. This one's pretty intense to install. There's a lot of trace cuts and a lot of wiring involved. It takes you through a lot of steps to get it installed. Depending on your logic board model, different cuts, etc. You know, it's a very evolved installation for something that can simply toggle between low and high speed. Although it does slow the system down when there's operations going on that require slow speed. As you can see, it's quite involved. You know, just lots trace cut, trace cut, trace cut, jumper wire, trace cut. Basically, the board can run 1 of 2 speeds, low or high speed, and depending on how you wire the board up, you're going to be 2 times speed or 3 times speed. The board I've got obviously was set up for 2 times speed. So you know, just an elaborate process here. And of course, in the photos we looked at, you saw all of the wires and the ribbon cable and everything involved. So pretty extensive installation for what it does. That loose wire, I believe, could be wired up to a switch somewhat like, well, maybe not. I think this switch actually goes to these jumpers to select slow or high speed. Speed up, perhaps, the triple speed. Mods on triple speed, they're starting to add resistors and capacitors and things to start to shape signals. The system becomes unstable, and there's, you know, the little card we saw installed in the one photo. So anyhow, it's quite an elaborate process to install that little card. So somebody had their work cut out for them.